Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to picture this for a second. It's an ordinary, sweltering afternoon in a really dense jungle. But if you look closely, crouching behind a tree are two middle-aged men. They've got long, bushy hair, untrimmed beards, and they are trying their absolute best to look like native jungle dwellers. They're perfectly still, and their eyes are completely locked on a group of tribal people quietly collecting firewood in the distance. It's a bizarre scene, right? And it immediately begs a massive question. What exactly drives a man who used to live in the highest echelons of wealth and status to just abandon his past, disguise himself in the dirt, and spy on a remote tribal community? Well, the man in question is Hanudas, and his transformation from a Toronto elite into a silent observer frantically searching for the immortal Lord Hanuman is hands down one of the most fascinating journeys we're going to explore in this explainer. But to truly understand this drastic shift in his life, we can't just look at the jungle. We have to rewind. We have to go all the way back to the exact heartbreaking moment Hanudas lost absolutely everything that anchored him to the material world. Because this wasn't just some sudden spiritual awakening. It was a complete, total, systemic collapse of the life he knew.
Section 1. Tragedy and the Vision. A systemic collapse.
You see, Hanudas was living the high life in Toronto. He was flashing wealth, chasing approval, labeling everything around him as good or bad. But then, the unthinkable happened. He lost his wife in a really tragic accident. And shortly after that, he had to watch completely helplessly as his only son was tormented by severe drugs and paranoid schizophrenia, literally plagued by terrifying things that just weren't real. When his son finally passed away, Hanudas buried him. And on the day of that burial, something major shifted. He became completely hollow. I mean, no sorrow, no pain, no regret whatsoever. It was like he had buried his entire material attachment right there in that grave. His mind became a total blank slate. And it was in this state of absolute hollow emptiness, actually driving back from his son's funeral, that the impossible happened. He was staring blankly out the window, and his mind suddenly violently reactivated. Imagine driving down the highway and seeing this. He shouted involuntarily because he saw a giant, hairy figure flying and hovering horizontally right over a neighboring car. His brother, who was driving, thought the grief had literally driven him mad. When Hanudas looked again, the creature was just gone. It was replaced only by a small saffron flag fluttering on the car's roof, bearing a really similar imprint. Fast forward a few months, and Hanudas recounts this totally bizarre event to his mentor, Gurudeva. He's fully expecting to be called crazy, right? But Gurudeva just smiled. He confirmed that this was no hallucination. Because Hanudas's mind had been completely emptied of worldly noise that day, his pure soul was actually able to catch a genuine, fleeting glimpse of the immortal Lord Hanuman, who was hovering over that car to protect Gurudeva from unseen evil forces. Section 2. The Mind versus Maya, an epic internal battle. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how our internal conflict maps out. Gurudeva explained that when Hanudas saw the divine figure, his soul simply experienced it, pure and simple. But almost instantly, his mind woke up and panicked. The mind desperately craves logic and safety, so it feverishly rummaged through its compartments and slapped labels on the experience, words like magical, unexplained, and delusional. And the moment the mind did that, the pure vision just vanished. Gurudeva delivered this incredibly powerful insight. He said, if a soul is aware of who it is and where it is headed, it is pure. He basically told Hanudas that the vast majority of human souls are completely asleep, almost drugged into a state of drowsiness. We all walk around thinking our mind is in control, but our mind is actually this weak, fragile thing being heavily manipulated by outside forces. And that outside force is exactly what Gurudeva calls Maya. Think of Maya as the external world. It's our endless modern distractions, the whole illusion of materialism. It acts as a powerful force that literally enslaves the weak human mind. Gurudeva warned Hanudas that his soul had woken up for just a brief, split second on the day of the funeral, but now his mind was right back to taking directions from Maya. His soul was lulled right back into ignorance. Section 3. Trailing the Mahong Tangs, the inner calling. So to answer that inner calling and deliberately put his overactive mind back to sleep, Hanudas leaves everything behind. He wanders across India for months with literally nothing but a backpack. We're talking from glittering cities to dark, completely uninhabited caves, seeking absolutely no destination. And most importantly, he lets every single experience, the joy, the pain, the extreme boredom, just pass through his mind like water between the shores of a river. He refuses to judge or label anything. And by doing this, he successfully strips Maya of its control over his mind. Eventually, all this deep, aimless wandering sparks something, a tingling in his mind. He comes across a group of tribal people known as the Matongs. Now, he has zero logical, worldly reason to be interested in them, but he feels this profound inner calling, an urge that's originating not from his curious mind, but from his soul, telling him that these people somehow, some way, interact with the invisible, immortal Lord Hanuman. So he begins trailing them. After several grueling months out there in the jungle, he doesn't find a direct path to a deity, but he does manage to collect something incredibly strange. It's a highly specific set of 7 symbols inscribed on broken clay pots, tree trunks, and rocks. He has no clue what they mean, but that deep inner urge just keeps pushing him to find out.
Section 4. The Invisible Presence. A startling encounter.
Which brings us right back to where we started this whole explainer, hiding behind that tree. As the Matong women collect firewood, a young tribal woman suddenly begins screaming, her body twitching and jerking violently. Now, Swamiji instantly dismisses it as just a standard medical seizure, but as the woman lies down to recover, Hanudas is suddenly hit by that exact same hollow feeling of nothingness he had on the day of his son's burial. And in that split second, he sees 3 quivering human-like figures of light appear and then vanish. Then, the woman sits up and prostrates herself on the ground. She's bowing deeply, palms joined tightly at her chest, her lips moving in silent prayer. Now, Hanuda's physical eyes cannot see anyone standing there, but he feels it with absolute, undeniable certainty. She is praying directly to the invisible presence of Lord Hanuman himself.
Section 5. The 41-Year Secret. Unlocking Supreme Truth.
The crucial difference in that jungle clearing was perception. While his companion just saw a medical episode, Hanudas was floating way beyond his logical mind, and his intuition was absolutely right. Very shortly after this incredible encounter, the fog finally clears. Hanudas looks at the puzzle of the 7 symbols he had collected from the Mahanthangs, and the meaning just unlocks in his mind. It reveals a secret cycle, and it's all tied to the number 41. The puzzle translates to this truly breathtaking message. The immortal Lord Hanuman comes every 41 years to impart supreme knowledge to his disciples, the Mahanthangs. This was it. This was the secret of the tribe. This was exactly why his soul pulled him into the jungle in the first place. I mean, this breakthrough changed absolutely everything. Over the next several months, Hanudas collected thousands more of these symbol puzzles from the jungle. Within these symbols was enshrined the entirety of the knowledge that the immortal deity imparted to his disciples. Hanudas, with the help of other sages, meticulously deciphered these puzzles and documented them into the profound work we now know as the Immortal Talks. It's wild to think about, but Hanudas had to lose absolutely everything and strip his mind of Maya's control just to perceive this hidden reality. It leaves us with a truly provocative thought to walk away with today. If ultimate, supreme knowledge was being offered right in front of you, hidden in the mundane world every 41 years, would your mind be quiet enough to actually hear it? Or would you just label it a trick of a light and keep walking? Think about that until next time.